man, Big Ron DeVoe from New Edition and Bell Biv DeVoe, and you know I got soul. One love. Hey, what's going on, Tom?
Hey, Ronnie, how are you?
Oh, yeah. What's happening?
Not too much, man. How's everything with you?
Man, as good as can be. Good as can be, all things considered.
Listen, man, I appreciate you taking some time out for this interview.
Not a problem at all.
You know, I appreciate the fact that, you along with Bell Biv DeVoe, you guys are making the most of this, pandemic and quarantine. You guys have this Concert Garage Series, event coming up. We definitely are looking forward to seeing that. But can you fill us in a bit on that before it comes up in the next couple of days?
Yeah, man, Thursday evening, Bell Biv DeVoe will finally get the chance to blast off and do our version of what everybody's been doing, trying to figure this thing out. How do we adapt? How do we navigate where we are in these days and times, man? And lives are being lost, and we're trying to figure out how to do our fair share. And BBD Cares is something that has been dear and near to and close to our hearts forever as far as the music industry is concerned, just giving back in different ways throughout the years. And we felt like now is the time to really move this thing forward as a real organization and foundation, and considering all the relief that's needed from COVID-19, Laurel Ridge Rehabilitation Center up there in Boston is going to get some of the proceeds from this thing, man. And it jumps off with Bell Biv DeVoe and Jagged Edge in the place where some of the biggest bands out there were made. It started right there in the garage. You couldn't dance on the hardwood floor inside the house. You had to go to the garage and pick up the guitar or the drums or what have you. So we just felt like we'd have a little bit of elbow room, considering Bell Biv DeVoe. We can't do it right there from the bedroom or from the living room, but we can damn sure do it from the garage and give back at the same time.
It's amazing, and I'm reading here the press release. This is going to be a series. You guys plan to do more of these in the future. Do you have any lined up, maybe with other guests in the future?
You got to stay tuned to BellBivDeVoe.com. You got to stay tuned to our partners. Leo is an amazing cat, and FunkFestTV.com. Yes, it's the list of individuals that we're talking to right now that just want to be able to get back out there and do what they love to do, but not in the capacity where you feel restricted, right? So, again, BBD and Jagged Edge is jumping it off, and 2 weeks from now we'll have another edition, and it'll just keep moving from there, man. It's it's beautiful. It's all for a give back. We're definitely asking people to pay a little something into the game just so we can move some of that money around and do our fair share. And at FunkFestTV.com is where it'll be streaming for a good hour and a half, almost 2 hours. We're looking at 25-minute performances from each act. Some one-on-one time as far as Q&A is concerned. And then we're going to answer some questions and just vibe with people after the fact just to kind of see what they felt about it, how we may be able to tweak it, what things can be done or what have you moving forward. But we're just ready to blast off, man. We're excited, trying to get out of our quarantine to a certain extent, but still social distancing for the most part. We're not really just gathering and hanging out. Jagged Edge is going to be separate from us. We're damn sure going to, be separate from each other as far as the crew and everybody that's going to be on hand with masks and gloves and sanitizer and all of the above. But, just trying to get back to business as normal as possible, as normal as we can.
Right. It's a beautiful thing you guys are doing. Always amazing to see when artists give back. But I got to ask, how tough is it for you, because you guys live on the road as part of BBD and obviously New Edition. You guys are always doing shows nonstop. So this pandemic, how is it affecting your livelihood? Because, it must be totally opposite from what you're used to.
Listen, it's real in the field, and I was about to say real in the fucking field. A lot of the times when you think pandemic, like everybody is lumped together, when you think recession, when you think something happening to the economy, a lot of the times the entertainment industry is one of the only things that thrive, right? And then you have alcohol and tobacco and some of those things because people are turning to vices and they're turning to entertainment to have them, have some sense of normal or getaway. And now that's stripped from us, man.
Yeah.
We had money on the table in March, April, and May that's no longer there. And June, July, August, September, the rest of the year for us as the 30th anniversary of Poison was spelled out in such an amazing way to BBD and New Kids at Fenway, and we're trying to find out if that's going to happen. And that's September 19th. So there's so many different changes that have happened, and that's what the Garage Series was birthed out of, man. Just that internal instinct to try and figure out how the hell do we adapt to this situation and reach our people, and do some good at the same time.
Right. Man, I can't even imagine how tough it is for you guys, but I'm glad you guys are being proactive and starting to do stuff, at least in the digital space, which is a great way to reach your fans. On the more positive note, though, I've got to ask you about the Poison album. You brought it up, 30th anniversary. March 20th was the day it turned 30. What do you remember about creating that album originally?
Just the energy. Los Angeles, California. Just the unexpected, the underdogs, feeling like the fruit doesn't fall too far from the tree, right? And looking at our brother Bobby Brown, who we went on tour with, the Heartbreak Tour, with Al B. Shore, just watching the monster that he became, in a good way, of course, and feeling like, if Bob can do it, we can do it as well. And there's no expectations. It's almost like, what's BBD or what's the other three guys in New Edition gonna do? But we just felt like once we heard Poison and a couple other songs, because initially they wanted us to be a little bit more R&B like any, but we felt like, nah, man, it's time for us to be the off-stage version of New Edition. And we started with a couple R&B joints, including Smile Again and I Do Need You. They made the cut, but then we moved in another direction with Hank Shockley and the Bomb Squad and Spider-Man and Freeze, along with our manager at the time, Hiram, dropped that atomic bomb on us with Poison. And I knew when I first heard those snares from day one, we're going to be all right. And 30 years later, man, they still banging them snares as well, because you can go to the 50-plus club, which I'm a part of, right? And Poison is banging.
Yep.
You can go to the 18 and over spot, and Poison is banging just as loud, right? So it's amazing to have almost like a life preserver when you're feeling like your ship is sinking in 1989 as far as New Edition is concerned. So that was the vibe back then, and that's still the vibe to this day.
It's amazing. And Ronnie, I've got to ask, I often feel like your contributions at times are overlooked to the groups, BBD and New Edition, in favor of some of the other artists, but you're one of the most integral members. Like, what is your contribution in the creative side of things that people don't get to see?
There's got to be a middle. There's got to be a middle ground that kind of that keeps everything together. When you have extremes in life, there has to be some kind of glue. And although I might not be the lead at times, I'm gonna step out when Do Me, what comes on, and that's a major part of New Edition's success. I'm gonna step out and handle my business when Poison comes on, and that's a major part of the overall New Edition success. Yeah. But in the middle of it, when it's time for us to rock, Ron is always in the middle of bringing that together. And not that it's been a thing that was meant to happen, or I was trying to force that on myself, but I can touch Ralph, I can touch Bob, I can touch Johnny, I can touch Mike, I can touch Rick, and they all understand, okay, if Ron is in, I'm in at the end of the day. So how about the reason why you see New Edition is because of me, not because of me.
Yeah. Nice, man. Appreciate you sharing that. I got to touch on the last Bell Biv DeVoe album, Three Stripes. Came out 2017. Had the hit single on there, Run. What are you looking like to the future for BBD in terms of new music? I know probably this whole pandemic threw a wrench in things, and you had a whole tour lined up. But are you guys even considering doing new music at all in the future?
Hell to the yeah, man. It's crazy because my computer went dead right before the pandemic, right? Which is like, damn, So I have the Pro Tools, and I even got DJ equipment downstairs and the whole right? But my computer goes dead right before that, right?
Right.
So who would have thought that, okay, I would be stripped from being able to go to the stores and shop for the blah, blah, all the above. So finally, when snatched up another computer because I, felt a little at ease about a week ago, so I'm plugged in, right? And we're all plugged in for that matter. So new music, that's the way that we're going to be able to survive, honestly. Right now, you got to deliver that type of content for people until we can begin to gather again. So it's about records. I was talking to Rick and Mike the other day, right? And I'm like, the lost tapes. Bell Biv DeVoe has probably 40 songs that people haven't heard yet, at all. So imagine just even reviving and delivering some of the lost files. We got to call it the lost files now because people don't even know what the hell tapes are, right? But something like that, right? And new music on top of that as well. But I think we're in a day and age where it's about a peek into the window of what's really going on kind of behind the scenes. And I think the lost tapes and some of the new stuff that we're looking at doing is something that'll be perfect rolling out right now while people are just looking for different and new content.
Right. That actually sounds pretty amazing. I mean, definitely R&B lovers and fans need that in this time. It helps with the healing. So the fact that you're going to potentially bring that's pretty dope.
Come on, let's do it. Well, I got video and just footage from back in the day. I was always the one with the camera.
Really?
So I'm looking at old hard drives and pulling out pictures. So yeah, it's about BellBivDeVoe.com. It's about our social media platforms and staying connected to people in that capacity until we can connect with them physically, and hopefully, something to open up in the next 5 or 6 months to where we're all feeling a little bit more comfortable about getting together. But until then, hey, you got to be cautious and safe.
Let me ask you this. As far as Bell Biv DeVoe, we mentioned 30th anniversary. You had this tour lined up. One thing we've noticed, not only Bell Biv DeVoe, but New Edition, they've been able to maintain their legacies. People still support them heavily. But in the meantime, we've seen so many groups fall off in that time and unfortunately fall from the, from popularity, from the mainstream. But you guys have remained at the top. It's almost like you're as popular as you ever was. How have you maintained that timeless legacy?
Honestly, man, when people ask me that question, I look to something that we did a whole lot of before the light was shined on us, and that's rehearse. To be entertainers. So 2 hours, 5 times a week, sometimes 3 hours after homework was done or what have you, for 3-4 years before Candy Girl came out, just honing our craft. How do we get in front of, the young girls and figure out how to make them scream, right? So I think that right there, the entertainment value that we give to people when they heard the song Candy Girl, it's like, oh, wow. But then you see the performance. We've been able to honor those just long-time fans because without a record on the radio, and it's not like we drop albums every year, which is what they do twice a year. Nowadays, you got to do that to remain relevant, but people understand those classic records when it's time to put some tickets on sale for a show, no matter where that is. People are coming because they know they're going to get their money's worth, right? It's going to take them back to a time where music felt good for them and they can identify with, different experiences and all of the above, man. So I think that performance value and everything that we poured into ourselves, including, my Uncle Brooke Payne, all of that stuff is what allowed us to stand the test of time, man, and walk all the way up to the New Edition story and break records with them 30 million viewers. And now everybody wants to do some type of story as far as their livelihood is concerned. And not to say we were the first, but it was very successful because, you know, people genuinely understand that we were kind of born for this, and not that we took it for granted. Like, we put in the work, some real work.
Right. I love that answer. Definitely respect for your legacy and the work you guys have put in, and obviously the quality music you've given us. And last question for you. You know, I'm obligated to ask this question on behalf of the readers. You know, obviously people always want to know, in your mind and in your heart, do you ever believe there will be another New Edition album?
Come on, son. Come on, man. Come on. Yo, I wish I could say some of the things that were in the pipeline for 2020, man. It's just, you know, the light just got turned out on everybody. And New Edition is talking again, right? And there were things in place that, of course, we all have to pump the brakes on, right? But the good thing is we're talking. And the good thing is, at some point, it's going to get to new music. It's going to get to really what people want to see. They want to see us on stage performing those classics. And, you know, if we drop a new one in the midst of that hour and 30 minutes or 2-hour performance because we got enough material to go for 4, then we'll deliver that for sure. But, man, we're in a great place as a group. And there'll definitely be some more any, God willing, man. Like, we're all healthy, we're all still here, and I ain't heard no COVID-19 stories as far as the closeness, you know, of the group. So we're gonna keep our fingers crossed and get back to it when God permits.
I love to hear that, man. Can't wait to see what you guys are cooking up. So,
yo, son, it was about to go down already in 2020. We were celebrating on both sides of the fence, BBD and NE. But, you know, the fire's been put out for a hot second.
Yeah.
But, hey, that's for everybody. So we'll weather the storm and jump back in 2021.
That's unbelievable, man. I mean, it will happen, though. I'm just happy to hear it, you know, in God's timing, and we're looking forward to it. But that's all I had for you.
Thank you, man. I mean, this was therapy. This was therapy, and I appreciate you, Tom, for this one. You know.